It is the 18th day of August 2020. Good morning and welcome. A chilly morning here in the county in Nairobi. Hope you're having a fruitful day. Times to check some of the things that are happening in the country, and of course having a live discussion here in studio. And today marks the first day after yesterday's Senate. You do remember yesterday the revenue sharing formula, the third basis formula, that is being mooted by the CRA, that is Commission on Revenue Allocation. Some of the members of the Senate did support it and others were against it. A lot of drama, if you ask me. 3 senators arrested and also 29. What am I talking about? After the vote yesterday, it was an unanimous. It was not an unanimous decision, as the both sides that who are supporting and others who do not support the formula actually tied on 29 votes each. That is what we will be discussing, and of course we'll be touching on other things that are happening in the country as we look into how we can make the country go forward, and especially now that we have the COVID-19 pandemic. Remember, last year we also had the Division of Revenue stalemate, which lasted a little bit shorter time than this year, and counties as we speak haven't received their share of revenue in the last 2 months. That is what will be forming the basis on our discussion, and of course we will be having our reporters on the ground to update us on what is currently happening. My name is Ben Troinjue. Welcome at Ben Troinjue at KBC Channel 1. Remember, the hashtag to use is NewsCheck. And to help me drive this agenda, actually, I'm joined by Peter Amunga, who is not only a governance expert and a political analyst, he is also an education expert. Karibu sana Bwana Amunga.
Asante sana.
Yesterday, a day full of drama. Actually, we didn't expect all this. We do remember that even senators had said that now our 3 members have been arrested. Until they are released, this is not going on. How did you make of yesterday's drama?
Yes, I found it. It was a bit unfortunate because the Senate is seen as the house of elders.
Yes,
the house where we expect people to behave with a lot of decorum. But we saw voices rising. Mm-hmm. Although we understood that the temperatures that were rising was because of their 2 or 3 colleagues had been arrested. Mm-hmm. So, well, it was a real drama. But you see, at the end of the day, they didn't agree on what was the most important thing, to share revenue. We are hearing about nurses planning to go on strike because they have not gotten their salaries and their dues. And so all this drama and shenanigans that are going on in the House of Senate finally affects the local mwananchi. And that is where our concern is. They can do their drama, they can talk what they want to say, but when they don't agree over something that affects the entire country, then it becomes a cause for concern.
And the rest of the 3 senators, even some of the senators were saying this is a government, a plan to intimidate senators to support what the CRA are recommending. What do you have to say about
Yes, of course. I have looked at what, for example, Senator Malala was charged for. Senator Malala was driven all the way from Nairobi to Kakamega because he held some, I think gave out some sanitizers. Now, the problem with that is, why would such a thing cause so much drama? Why such a long drive from Nairobi to Mumias because of just a case like that one? Why couldn't they just summon him to come and write a statement? Why did they wait for a day when there was such a big discussion going on in the House of Senate? So we as Wananchi, and I've looked at the social media, and I've looked at what's being reported, it is obvious there must be some underlying hands for the 3 senators. And why 3 senators? There are many other people who could be arrested. There are many people in that rally where Malala was giving out sanitizers. Why zero down on this senator? Why not the other police officers or other politicians who are there? So when you look at the whole scenario, you see a plan, you see a game plan. And this game plan is meant at derailing the talks that were to go on yesterday in the Senate.
And you are also an expert on politics of the Western region.
Yeah.
And to be very honest, of late we have witnessed a lot of trips by politicians and senior government officials, and they are there, even unionists like Francis Atwoli, there has been a lot of, let me call it political tours in the Western region. Why now?
Actually, we normally talk about the Kakamega gold rush. In the 1930s, we had people running towards Western because of the gold.
Yes.
But now we are seeing something we are calling the political gold rush, the political gold rush to Kakamega, Bungoma, and Busia. And I tend to think the reason why we are seeing so much activity in the Western region is because of the population. Kakamega, Bungoma, even the revenue sharing bill that you are hearing about, you hear that Kakamega and Bungoma are some of the largest counties in terms of population. So the population in Western is big. So what you are seeing right now is the rush by the political parties, by politicians, to make sure that they are on the right side with the Western voter. The Western voter carries around 4 million votes. 4 million votes, because last year's winner of the presidential vote won with the 8 million. So 4 million votes is like a sure bet. If you get somebody who can give you 4 million votes and you form a coalition with somebody else, as Mutahi Ngunyi used to say, it becomes the tyranny of numbers. So Western province is becoming the new political gold rush. And as Musalia Mudavadi once put it, everybody's running there because to them they believe they will get the votes. And anyway, the Western voter is seen as a very liberal voter. Over the years, the voter in Kakamega, in Bungoma, is a person who is seen like can vote anywhere as long as he's convinced or she's convinced. They give in the last general election, the Western, like Kakamega County, where Oparanya is the governor. But can you imagine the whole of Kakamega County? There's only one ODM MP. You know, the rest were Jubilee, they were ANC. You go to Bungoma, you see again there are so many Jubilee, yet party leader for Ford Kenya comes from Bungoma. So you discover that the Western voter has been a very liberal voter. And so I think political parties are angling for that vote from Western.
With all due respect, some would argue that perhaps the tours is because people are taking advantage. Now that you've talked about there's Ford Kenya, there's ANC, there are a number of political parties. There is no one political party. Of course, the region is quite rich in terms of population and votes, but somebody would argue Mount Kenya is a little bit bigger and has a bigger population than the Western region. Could they be taking advantage of the many political parties that are in the region? Actually,
they're taking advantage of not even the many political parties, because if you go to Central or region or Mount Kenya region, we have several political parties. Martha Karua has a political party. Kiunjuri, the former minister, CS, has a political party. There are several political parties in Central. But when it comes to the day of voting, and especially when they identify a presidential candidate, the people of Central Province, they will put their vote in one basket. Now, unlike the voter in Western, because the voter in Western votes across. Even Mwalimu Dida will get his share. Paul Muite, if he tries, he'll also get his share in Western. So I think the problem here is they are taking advantage of the fact that the Luhya or the Western region voter is a voter who can give you a vote as long as you convince him. So maybe what I tend to think, and that's what I'm trying to advocate most of the time, is we need a Luhya renaissance, whereby the people from Western needs to do an awakening, like which you see in Rift Valley, which you also see in the Ukambani region, which you also see in Mount Kenya region. The Ukambani region is very steadfast. Once they know this is the person we have identified, all the governors will maybe come from that party. But you see, go to Western Kenya. There's a governor from ODM. You may discover a governor from Ford Kenya. You may discover a senator from ANC. So you see,
the diversity.
Yes, there's diversity. And that is where the problem is.
Back to the Senate, a record 9th time, they haven't been able to agree on that basis formula on revenue allocation. Of course, some argued that if we adopt this formula, some of the counties will be more marginalized. I do remember leaders from the pastoralist region talking about we will be more marginalized than we were even before that basis formula was mooted.
Yes. There is something that we always need to come out. It is true we need this word marginalization. I'm a history teacher. I taught history for many years at high school level. What I can say is that the word marginalization should not just be used carelessly. And we can't solve the issue of marginalization via a sitting in the Senate. It is something that dates back to the colonial period, whereby the colonialists came up with a thought or with an idea that they had to build this railway, which came from Mombasa all the way to Kenya, Uganda, the Kenya-Uganda railway. And it was to exploit the high agricultural areas in the highlands and in the western part of Kenya. Now, the problem is they didn't see anything to exploit in the northern Kenya. That is how marginalization begins. So as Kenyans, we can't start talking about marginalization at a Senate. Senate has only a few hours of sitting. Marginalization can be addressed by all Kenyans, maybe through a referendum, maybe through historical injustices. So many things will have to come into play. The Senate alone is not capable of addressing marginalization. What Senate was supposed to discuss was how to share revenue. There is a central committee that decides. This committee had already given them a proposal based on poverty index, based on issues like development index, number of the population, number of hospitals, number of schools. And so they needed to discuss on that one. But you see, media and the rest of Kenyans and the politicians now came up with this thing called winners and losers.
Yes.
And that is where the problem came. The word marginalization comes in when they say that, as we have been left behind, government has left us behind. That was not the discussion. They were deviating from the main discussion. The discussion is to share revenue equally. And I think that should be where this debate should be taken back to. How do we get this revenue? Not equally. I think the word should not be equally. The word should be, there is a difference between equality.
Equitable.
Yes.
Perhaps equitable.
Yes, and equity.
Yes.
So we are talking about equity. And I normally give an example. Now being a teacher, if Teacher Service Commission wants to post a teacher, say to Kakamega High School where I once taught, at Kakamega High School, what will happen is that there are more teachers than, say, Garabatula High School in Isiolo. The population at Kakamega High School may be around 4,000 students. At Garabatula, there are 300 students. Now, Teacher Service Commission wants to post teachers. You cannot say that we will post 20 teachers to Garabatula and 20 to Kakamega High because we want to do equality. No, you have to think about equity. The number of students in, say, Kenya High may need more teachers than the number of teachers are needed, say, in a school like, say, Shivinga Primary School, because the population is higher. Now, that's why we talk about equity distribution. And so the debate of winners and losers in the Senate was misplaced, was misunderstood, it was hijacked, and I tend to think it's good that the senators are going back to the drawing board to discuss equity and how to share them equally. I think that's where the whole debate should start from.
And looking at the scores yesterday, 29 votes against 29 votes, that talks a lot about how the Senate, and especially the senators who are talking about their counties going to be having little or having the short end of the stick.
Yes.
But there was 29 votes versus 29 votes.
And that's where what I'm talking about, whereby we are seeing this debate of gainers and losers. It is not a good debate for this country. We are all Kenyans. There has been historical injustice in this country. Then let us address the historical injustices. And I don't like this discussion about, say, oh, this is people from Mount Kenya are going to benefit more, people from I don't know. I don't think that should be the discussion. Mount Kenya people may benefit more because of maybe the population they have, maybe because of the high levels of education they have, maybe because of the number of hospitals they have there. We cannot start building hospitals, say, in Wajir today using this revenue debate that had not been built all these years. And as a thing we need to be talking about as Kenyans now, it is not about this, county governments are only given 15% of the Kenyan, total revenue tax collection,
Yes.
So our total budget, only 15% goes to to the counties. Now the question we should be discussing therefore, if we want to address marginalization, if we want people from Mandera, from Wajir to enjoy what other Kenyans maybe are enjoying, let us start talking about how this money that is retained by the national government, 85%. This 85% of our GDP, of our budget, of the taxpayers' money that we collect, how much of it therefore can be going to Mandera, can be going to Wajir, can be going to Garissa or to Isiolo. So we need to remove this debate from thinking that the Senate, this 15% that the Senate distributes, can be able to change much in terms of marginalization. Most of this money remains with the national government. Can the national government take responsibility and address issues in, say, places like Mandera, places like Garissa, on how they can bring them up to the level that other places like, say, Mount Kenya have reached?
Yesterday, of course, they burnt the last drop of the midnight oil, actually trying to come up with a solution, but of course the solution was not forthcoming. So they decided on forming a committee that will include Senator Mutula Kilonzo of Makueni, Mahmoud Mohamed of Mandera, Stewart Manzaiwa of Kilifi, Kipchumba Murkomen of Elgeyo Marakwet, Susan Kihika of Nakuru, Samson Chergai of Nandi, Moses Kajwang of Homa Bay, Anwar Ole Tip Tip of Lamu, Ledamo Lekina of Narok, and John Kenyua of Laikipia. Of course, the committee will be led by Senator Moses Wetangula and his Nairobi counterpart, Johnson Sakaja. Do you think this committee will hand us what we are waiting for so long? It's the 9th time, and people are saying, Senate, you have failed us here.
Actually, I looked at the names, and I asked myself, actually I'm on some WhatsApp group where we were analyzing everything that was going on. And we were asking ourselves, the numbers, the people who are selected in that committee, most of them are from what we call Team Kenya, the team that is being called, the team that serves of win-win, you know, everybody
Team Kenya,
Team Kenya. Now, when you look at, for example, Sakaja, you look at all the people who have been put in that committee, Mutula Kilonzo Jr., all of them are people who belong to the so-called Team Kenya. And then now I ask questions. I'm not seeing people from the other side, you know, which we call the one man, one vote, one shilling. We are not seeing many of them there. We are not seeing Susan Kihika. We're not seeing, also I saw Chere Guy, the Nandi senator in that group. But it is not balanced. And I'm worried that the what we call the standoff may continue for the 10th and the 15th time. We as Kenyans now need to take over. You know, we as Kenyans need to start discussing at what level will we as a country also be able to, for our voices to be heard when it comes to things like revenue sharing, say at the Senate. But so far, this committee that they have selected, I can assure you, we have another standoff coming, because this is the headliners. These are the people whom you saw being arrested the other day. This is the same team that you saw being taken to their rural areas to stand trial. So I tend to think even government may not be very comfortable with those names, because those names are too much on one side.
Yes.
I tend to think so.
And what could be the way forward? I'm asking this because looking at counties, there are counties which have not even paid the frontline workers in the war against COVID-19 because there is no money. Should we actually perhaps say that at any one time, every financial year, there is an amount set aside to keep counties running as we wait for debates like the division of revenue? Actually,
this is the way forward is just simple. Depoliticize some of these issues that as a country, our constitution of 2010 gave too much liberty, too much freedom to our legislators for that matter, that they have to participate in everything, every vetting, everything that happens. There comes a time as a country we need to agree, and I tend to think maybe that's when I hear about the BBI, and sometimes I hear something like about the referendum. We need to remove so much of this politics. We have too much politics in this country. You see, something like the revenue sharing bill, we have already a committee. We have a commission that does that work. But after it does its work, again it has to be taken to the Senate to be vetted and to be agreed upon. Now, why all these levels of of checks and balances, and most of them are politically instigated.
Yes.
As a country, if we really want to move forward, we must reach a place, maybe we need to come up with a referendum or a question that will address these checks and balances that come with Parliament and with the Senate. Because we are giving our senators and our parliamentarians too much power that they hold us at ransom. We as Kenyans are held hostage. We have to wait for these guys to agree. We have to wait for these guys to go and do consensus, to go to Naivasha somewhere. Sometimes they even have to be bribed. Many of them normally tell us that we are bribed, to make a decision. So we need as Kenyans to think, did we make the right decision when we allowed in our constitution for people to be sitting in the House of Senate, to be voting on issues that touch on our daily bread, our life, everything? We need to come out of these political shenanigans as a country. And the way forward is just simple. Politicians, can you think about the normal person who is out there on the ground, who was not under salary? Think about the nurses. Think about the workers in the county governments. They need this money. And we as politicians, we need to reach a place now and give a reason a chance. Allow our people to also get a way out of this problem. So way forward, depoliticize
the revenue
allocation. Sharing bill.
Okay, you also mentioned Team Kenya. Of course, it has been on the lips of politicians ever since the division of revenue stalemate started. Some talking about we are looking at the interest of Kenya and calling themselves Team Kenya. Could we possibly see some political formation after this? You do remember after the referendum, we came up with ODM and other political parties. Do you think that we might have some political formations in light of this?
Actually, I'm personally very, very worried that even the BBI may suffer because of what's going on. Because we are seeing people like, say, Senator Oledema, we are seeing people like Senator Malala. These have been proponents of the BBI.
Yes.
These have been the blue-eyed boys of the BBI. And many times you have seen, Malala with, say, Francis Atwoli, discussing some of these issues. So what I'm seeing a situation where Malala and Oledema and the others may easily form another team. They may also come up now with a new formation, which they may call Team Kenya, youngsters. You remember in the history, if you remember the history of Kenya, where people like Waringa came in, there were some people called the Bearded Brothers. The Bearded Brothers were like such that, they came up, they formed we talk about Anyona, talk about Orengo, I talk about Raila Odinga. They were the blue-eyed boys that time when Kenya was changing, when we were repealing the Section 2A. You remember those days?
Yes.
So what we are seeing again, we may be seeing a new political formation of youngsters in Parliament. I'm talking about a man like Murkomen. Senator Murkomen is coming out now very strong. And I want to tell Kenyans, watch these young guys. These fellows may be the next leaders of this country in terms of they may go out there. Now, after this revenue sharing bill, they may now come, when there have been, some of them been arrested, we saw like Kina Malala being taken to the cells last night. Adversity brings people together. When you suffer together, you become comrades. So we are going to see a comradeship coming up between these senators, these young senators, the Cherargei of Nandi, the Mutula Junior of Makueni. I'm seeing them come and forming a team that will upset many other political formations in this country. I see a problem with BBI. I see Jubilee having a problem and losing some of these guys. And I'm also seeing ODM will lose some of their people
because of
this formation. Because of this revenue bill. That's what I see.
And still on the same, we're talking about those senators who are opposing the third formula basis. There are others who are proposing.
Yes, sir.
And there are others, as we rightfully put it, who are talking about we are looking out for Team Kenya or Kenya as Kenyans' interest, right?
Yes.
But looking at some of the senators who are bound to, their counties are bound to gain. A good example is Meru County.
Yeah.
You benefit more if we adopt this formula.
Yeah.
But looking at the senator himself, he is opposed
Yes,
to the third.
Yeah.
And he's not the only one. There are other senators
Even
who are
Kakamega,
following suit.
Malala,
Even Kakamega,
yes. What is happening? Therefore, that's actually what proves to us that there is another formation coming. Actually, that is the whole proof that a big formation is coming in this country of these youngsters. People like Linturi of Meru, people like Malala, people like our senator from Elgeyo Marakwet, and Mutula Kilonzo Jr. These gentlemen are going to form a team, a very formidable team. And this team is what is going to bring the problem, because they are now not doing this because of Kakamega or because of Meru,
yes,
or because of Nandi. They are doing this because to them they are seeing a situation whereby they are seeing their political future. They are not seeing Kakamega, they are not seeing Meru. They are seeing, that's why they call themselves Team Kenya. Because they are seeing themselves form a team that's going to be a Kenyan team. And that is where we are heading to. And I can assure Kenyans that we are in for very good, interesting times. Let's watch. Things are going to happen in this country that many of us never anticipated. And don't be surprised as Kenyans. If a young Obama, you know, the Obama euphoria, if those of you are there those days of Obama, a young senator like this man from Makueni can just take up things by storm. Or somebody like just Malala can just take Kakamega. Or somebody like Murkomen. In fact, I am so, when I look at the Twitter and I look at everything that's happening in the country, Murkomen is trending after every few hours because of his stand and the way he's posing himself in that Senate. And that is what they are calling Team Kenya. So Team Kenya may be the thing.
But looking at it on this perspective, yes, are you sure these guys are really after the interest of Kenyans? Looking at their political ideologies, are they really fighting for the welfare of all the 47 counties, or it's because of politics?
Politics. I'm sorry if a politician is listening to us this morning, but politics is always at play. Politics is a game of interest. Politics is a dirty game. Politics can be made clean by the politicians themselves, but what is at play right now is politics. Senator Murkomen, obviously, Elgeyo Marakwet was to gain. But I tend to think Senator Murkomen is speaking the way he's speaking because of the deputy president, whom he supports vehemently. He knows the deputy president has said, I want a win-win situation in this debate. So Murkomen will support that idea of win-win because he knows if he goes the other side is the one man, one shilling, one vote. That side is being supported by people from ODM especially, and people from also the Mount Kenya region. So Senator Murkomen is doing it for political purpose, not because of Elgeyo Marakwet. Same to Malala. Malala is not looking at Kakamega County as the place that he needs to get. He's looking at a bigger picture. His stake in the political equation in 2022, I mean. So this thing is not about this revenue sharing per se. It is about 2022. That is everything.
And
that's
actually, that I would say that would be something also to talk about, because looking at 2022 and we don't even have a division of revenue formula as now. Indeed, we are going to be continuing with this discussion, and in case you're joining us, this is NewsCheck. Remember, we're live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on our KBC app, and from the broadcasting house. Kindly send in your questions, your suggestion on this debate. Let's first of all have that break.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
And there cannot be a better life partner for Ahankara than Sushi.
At least this year I could see you on your birthday. I could do something for you.
son and I are going to meet the emperor in the evening, so that everyone learns what transpired 14 years ago.
When your booty got show me now. Baby, one time, bossy baby, give me 2 times. Full 180, crazy. Let's go. Ha, I needed some with some bobby. Mamacita, where you at? I've been trying to reach you. Katoto shepu awe, ayawe, ayawe. Tekenya katoto, kamini tekenya.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Dixis is an online sharing platform for medical healthcare practitioners. It is a knowledge sharing app that is available on Android, on iOS, and the web.
Medixis was introduced to us sometime last year in order to streamline the handover system across the department in the hospital that I work in. So that is the first time that Jane has actually come to my department to introduce it to us.
On the next episode of
Mimi sikuja hapa kufundishwa mapishi bora.
Bingwa potea huyu. I lost. Ili mtu mzima tena alivyokosa kabisa ni kunifanya mimi kama kijakazi wake. Yaani mimi siku nyingine napika chakula, yoje sema nini? Hatio, mara chakula hiki sikitaki, nipike kingine.
Sema tata huyu bwana. Haambiliki.
Lakini ametuelewa.
Tujeni kazi zenu
Gear up and maintain a healthy, fit and active lifestyle right there at home by keeping up with Gear Up on Channel 1, 5:30 to 6 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Gear up every day for every moment, and remember to stay home and keep safe.
Embakasi Utawala tuko locked. Ungem Utanyahururu Kasuku Massive, Jeshi ya Nyeri Coast Maua na Kuru ko locked mbaya. Kigumo Ward na ambao wote wako ndani ya KBC Channel 1.
Akulaliki Wednesday bila the ref.
Mbotela Auta Idara Kitengela.
Kiambu County 33 Pipeline Meru anawakilisha.
Rongai Maboxa pale go down. Karatina Auta Mlolongo wana enjoy show. Lare Sub County Auta Githurai 45. Lanet Barracks tuko ndani yake. Okongo Auta Carnation Maragwa Seti Nairobi.
Fika wako locked mbaya sana.
Watu wangu wa Nakuru Ngwaro.
Auta Gilgil live kutoka Mazeras Bahati Massive. Embo Thika Massive. Siaya Shikambi Kakamega Bungoma County.
Kusia Boda
Kisumu City.
Malindi yote iko ndani ya the ref.
When I'm in Kenya, I tune in to the rave. Get your mind brave, focus, conscious.
Kenya,
East Africa.
Right.
Keep it locked.
Calling out to every can.
this weekend on KBC Channel 1.
You know, I really don't get it.
Get what?
Why me? I mean, I try but clearly you're not interested.
Sisha, it is the starting point, and if you expect me to show you romance, then you're a small boy to me.
Trouble in paradise? Guys, please keep it down. Why are you two fighting? And girls, you can be loud.
And this is why I keep my things simple and professional.
Welcome back. This is NewsCheck, and we are glad you're watching. And today we are looking at the county revenue sharing stalemate. Of course, the third basis formula being mooted by the Commission on Revenue Allocation and having the backing of Treasury. But Senators, 9 sessions later, no solution yet. What is the way forward? As of now, 12-member committee was formed yesterday after they failed to agree. They were in the Senate till past 8, but no solution yet. We've seen a lot of things come out of that. We've seen even politics play out, and that is what we are discussing. So what is the way forward? With the 12-member committee come up with a solution. And joining me, of course, we were speaking with Peter Amunga, who is a governance and education expert. And now we are joined by Ambassador Esther Waringa, who is the founder of the Public Service Governance. Karibu sana, Esther.
Thank you very
Ambassador,
much.
you're talking about living for the sake of others, and I'm quite sure that's a very good motto when talk about the revenue sharing stalemate. Kenyans are waiting. They are still waiting.
Yes.
Counties do not have money. Some have not even paid salaries. And we are staring at a bigger financial limbo if this stalemate continues to drag on. What do you make of it?
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. My name is Ambassador Esther Waringa, the founder and president of Public Service Governance. And in Public Service Governance, we are promoting good, accountable, responsible, peaceful, and divine governance in the Republic of Kenya. Yeah, living for the sake of others. The big question is, when we see what is happening at the Senate today, are our politicians, are our senators living for the sake of Wanjiko? When they are spending 9 sessions at the Senate, and after that coming up with no solutions. And to a great extent is that at the end of every sitting, they must be given some allowances to carry home. The big question is, are the allowances equal to the task that they are carrying out at the Senate? The big question is what is happening at the Senate politicized? Yes, to a big extent, not for the interest of Wajiko. So Public Service Governance is calling upon the Senate now to start living for the sake of people who elected them. Otherwise, a time has come for them to go home.
And we were looking at that win-win situation earlier on with Amunga here. And we were talking about looking at counties. Perhaps we should have a formula that actually shields counties when it comes to allocation. I'm talking about last year we had the same limbo, which actually went all the way to the Supreme Court, and counties did not have funds to run counties. The same situation. Now we are 2 months since the counties were given money. I know some doctors and nurses have talked about we are going to strike if we are not given the money, but of course the National Treasury has not released the money because of this stalemate. So what could be a win-win situation at the moment? We have a 12-member committee. Do you think it will deliver the much-awaited hope?
I'm not sure that the 12-member committee will still deliver as long as what is happening at the Senate is politicized. It's towards winning games towards 2022 elections. I'm not sure that even the 12-member committee is coming up with a solution. The most unfortunate thing that is happening in the Republic of Kenya, we have politicized everything. A toilet being constructed somewhere, we politicize. A road being done, some village being given water. Everything has become politics. We drink politics, we wake up politics. And let me share this with Kenyans. That is why public service governance is coming on board to bring elections to a total end. Because if we continue with electoral cycles 24/7, after every 5 years, the country becomes totally divided according to political party groupings. And actually, Kenyans allow me to say this, that what is happening at the Senate right now, and anticipate this, that even the 12-member team that has been constituted last evening still will be politicized. And I'm not sure we are going to get any solution. Therefore, Kenyans' public service governance has come up with a lasting solution to this country's leadership, to this country's service delivery, to this country's revenue allocation, that we only need the ministries of government to shoulder the development mandate of the nation away from divisive, tribalistic, expensive elections that have torn the country into pieces. Thank you.
Amunga, yesterday, the senators were talking about, and of course, the ones who are calling themselves to Kenya, talking about democracy. That is what they are following. And looking at, of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga, of course, they have a big role to marshal their numbers so that they may drive the government agenda. Do you believe it was democracy that brought us to 29 votes each, or still? Because truth be told, a lot of politics, as Ambassador has talked about.
No, you see, that's the problem. It's politics. Yeah. And the 29 votes, you know, over the weekend, proceeding to yesterday's vote, and even before, there have been a lot of lobbying in hotels, a lot of sittings, a lot of calls. And that's why we even saw the arrests of those senators. It's politics at play. You cannot purport to arrest a senator all the way from who did something in Mumias over the weekend, come pick him in Nairobi, Kitengela, and drive him back. It's politics at play. And so I think that's, as the ambassador is saying, we must reach a place as a country and ask ourselves, are these people in the Senate really advocating for us, or are they advocating for other higher powers? Are they some musical chairs? Are they just puppets whom somebody's playing the strings and all they do is to dance in that Senate? One of them said, and this is very unfortunate, somebody said, we are cows, as we are cows of so-and-so. So when so-and-so says left, we go left. When so-and-so says right, we go right. We don't think. And that is the statement and that we need to say as Kenyans. We need to say enough is enough. Can we continue having cows, as somebody called himself? I'm sorry, Yunet Muhammad is my friend. He called himself a cow. If you call yourself a cow and you are elected by people of that constituency of yours, and all you can do in parliament is to sing cowly music, you know, depending on who has sent you, then it means you're not representing me as Mwananchi. And there's somewhere I really support Musalia Mudavadi, this NC party leader. He said, the shenanigans we are seeing in parliament and in the Senate could be that the government is broke. They don't have the money to send to the county governments. So this game we are seeing, these musical chairs we are seeing, could be to delay as money is sought, as funding and coffers keep coughing, so that as the game continues, the musical chair game continues, politicians play and play at the gallery. Meanwhile, the government is trying to look for the money that can be sent to the county governments. Let me say this. If our politicians were serious about this revenue sharing bill, it can be sorted out in less than 1 hour. 1 hour they'll vote, they'll be through with it, and one session is enough. But because they are not serious about it, they want to play politics, and as Madam Ambassador puts it, the politics overshadows even the good thing that was to be done by them.
Perhaps to add on that, Ambassador, I do remember Majority Whip Irungo Kangata talking about leaders. He accused senators from the Rift Valley region of sabotaging, actually that was his exact word, sabotaging government-backed revenue formula. Do you believe that they exercised their due democracy yesterday, or as Peter has talked about, it was only about politics and interest?
it is unfortunate situation that even when Honorable Kangata was putting it across, and all through as he has been trying to probably bring these senators together to be able to support the bill, it has all been political statements that have been making. That if you don't support this, then we won't support BBI. If you don't support this, then we won't support Rift Valley. What kind of leadership are we offering to Kenyans? Is it about who is where? Is it about BBI? Or is it about Wanjiko getting food on the table? And that is why, at the end of the day, we would like to have a free politics revenue sharing formula. And this, it comes a time when we say that, when we have to say that managers have now to take over and lead this government away from politicians. Because if we have managers, technocrats, the expertise of strategic management, I'm a strategist, and I tell you it is so simple as my friend Peter has just put it. 1 hour is enough or less to be able to come up with a strategy for revenue allocation. But because it is politics, because we are trying to win people to us because of 2022, allow me to say this, that even 22 actually, as President one day put it, belongs to God. These games that you people are playing and denying Wanjiko her rightful role. Right now there is no money at the county level. Wanjiko is suffering. There is no water, there are no roads. Everything is stagnated in the country because of petty politics 2022. Allow me to say that high possibility that public service governance will be eliminating elective system before 2022. Thank you. The country must focus on development.
Okay, we'll hold you to that.
Thank you.
Let's go back to the counties, away from the Senate a bit, but truth be told, a lot of the cash that is trickling into the counties is either being mismanaged. We've had corruption cases. A number of governors have a lot of issues and integrity issues and corruption also. This money we are advocating that the Senate should talk about it so that it may trickle down to Wanjiko. And there are accountability issues. Should we not also tag that along as we look for a division that will offer a win-win formula?
You know, I want to say something about that. You know, there is a software, Ambassador and our dear host who is hosting us on this show. We as Kenyans have, it's like we have a software, you know, there's normally the hardware and then the software, you know, the application. It's like we are born with a very funny app. As we are wired in a very interesting manner. Because even as Ambassador is talking about technocrats taking over. Now, go even now to the counties, even go to the Ministry of Health. I heard the minister saying that in this house behind me, talking about Afia House, you know, people sitting in Afia House are not politicians. They are technocrats.
Right.
There are people who went to University of Nairobi, University of Kenyatta, Moi, whatever. They got degrees. They were given power to go and read and serve Kenya. Then they go to these big houses of ours, these offices of ours. And Ambassador, maybe you'll have to address us on this one. Because what is it there for? That somebody gets a position, even if it's not even political. Somebody gets a position to serve the county government as we saw during the Kirinyaga impeachment process in the Senate again. We saw the Senate was able to remove the blame from the governor and put the blame on her technocrats in Kirinyaga. And that is where I am saying the problem is not sometimes just the politicians. The problem is that gene ile tumezaliwa sisi nayo kama wa Kenya. It's like we are wired, tuko na wiring short circuit mbaya. Nikiingia tu kwa ofisi, the moment I step in an office, the first thing I think about is how will I eat? And that's why I'm even worried about Ambassador and the public service governors. When they take over, will they also be wired the way the rest of us Kenyans are wired?
Yes.
And just to answer now, just shortly what you've just asked me, when we go back to the counties, we see the same thing that happens at the national level is devolved. It's like corruption was devolved from the central, which used to be the central government, to 47 units. All our units, any governor who goes to sit before the Senate, they have integrity issues, they have issues of accountability, they have issues of not having done whatever the money was they were given. I saw in my own county of Kakamega, where we are seeing people talk so well about Kakamega governor. But I come from that county, and I've seen the people there say, you go to the hospital, the Kakamega Referral Hospital, there are no gloves, there are no masks. These beds you read about that, counties are beds. Maybe they are beds for VIPs. They're waiting for people to be taken there. But most of those things are either lying somewhere, waiting for a cameraman to come and take photos and show them on media, or waiting for Mutahi Kagwe to visit Kakamega or Isiolo. Once he comes to Isiolo, some private hospitals may be told to produce their beds, put them there for a show, for a camera shoot, and then that goes out. So there is problems right from the central government to the county governments. And all these things must be addressed. Kenyans, can we get serious? It is our country. Can we just take care of our country?
Indeed. Ambassador, you want to add
I want to respond to that. Yeah,
Yes.
because my question is, where did the spirit of living for the sake of others go to? Number two, where is the moral standing of government, moral standing of a society, moral standing of individuals? Where did they disappear to? Number three, where is the divine authority of God in us gone to? That President Nyerere the other day put it that Kenya has become a man-eat-man society. Therefore, one, by eliminating elective system, we will have tackled one problem. Problem number two that we want to tackle is the moral standing of government. That anyone coming into the public service must, one, be able to practice high level of moral standing. Number two, must be able to practice high level of integrity. And it's not what we are seeing right now, that everybody we are told we are upholding high level of integrity. Even at the Ministry of Health, we are still being told the systems are running at a very high integrity. And the Ministry of Finance, and we are experiencing high level of theft of COVID-19. What kind of a country? Money that is supposed and meant for COVID-19 purposes to be able to eliminate the virus. We are putting it into our pockets to prepare ourselves for 2022. It is very, very unfortunate. And I must say, this is not where we buy blessings. In fact, after stealing that money, thinking that you're buying yourself a blessing, it might be a curse. Therefore, allow that money to do whatever it's supposed to do. Therefore, I bring this to the leadership of this country. That number one, from today, if it is possible, can we take a paradigm shift, those who are in leadership, all the way from His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, to the ward level, to the MCAs and everybody, including the cabinet, those who are in the public service, that we must now engage a moral revolution inside our hearts, inside our brains, inside our psychology and our systems. That before you steal that 1 shilling, think of a family that is sleeping hungry because of the shilling that you have stolen. Think of somebody who is dying in hospital. It is very sad that the consignment that was brought in as a donation by Jack Ma in this country was sold up to another country. Your Excellency, where are you? Honorable Cabinet for Health, Mutahi Kagwe, what is happening in this country?
Without
Mr. Matiang'i, with all the intelligence in this country, can you tell Kenyans what is really happening? We really need an answer. And it comes to a time when we say enough is enough, and Wajiko's power can talk.
Well,
and away from Wajiko's power,
Ambassador.
away from Wajiko's power, there is the divine authority of God that can send you home today,
Ambassador,
not tomorrow.
To be fair to the CS, yesterday, while he was being grilled by the health committee, he talked about no single shilling has been stolen in his ministry. He talked about, yes, there are billions of shillings, but we only have 25, and we can be able to account for the 25 billion that we've been given. Okay, that's a story for another day. But still on counties, there's a lot of wastage.
A lot of it.
There's a lot of wastage. And talking about revenue, you cannot spend something that you do not have. So in the same light, the counties are waiting for the national government to give it money. All the 47 counties are still waiting. But should we perhaps relook on the revenue allocation in counties so that all these problems that we are experiencing now can be able to be sorted out? Perhaps for now, even the salaries could be already sorted out if the counties are doing very well in revenue collection. Should we relook on that?
You see, actually, I forgot to talk about that, because all counties collect a lot of revenue within themselves.
Yes.
But now the question you wonder is, what happens? What happens to this revenue? For example, when you talk about a county like, say, Narok has been one of the counties collecting a lot of money from tourism. Just what is going on right now, the wild beast migration is ongoing in Narok. But when you ask the governors there, they tell us that the money they collect first is sent to to the treasury, to the central government, before it's rerouted back. So there's that talk of some bureaucracies, you know. But at the end of the day, a county, let's say like Nairobi, I was looking at some figures. I've not carried them here. But those figures were showing me that Nairobi County alone collects revenue more than several countries in Africa. The revenue that Nairobi County can collect is bigger tax, you know, if it's put in terms of tax, okay? It is bigger than countries like Burundi, countries like Congo, DRC. You know, most of these countries along the Congo Basin cannot collect as much revenue as Nairobi County collects. So the disconnect is not that we don't have the money. We have the money. And I like what Ambassador keeps saying here about public service and governance. It is about now how the people in those county governments can be able to organize themselves, collect revenue, and rechannel the revenue back to mwananchi, to the local mwananchi. Hapo ndio Kenya shida inakuwa sasa. When we collect the money, we start thinking about buying a house in Nairobi, in Kitengela, in the beach in Malindi. So the person who collects the revenue does not think about the hustler. Should I use that word hustler, or I'll be labeled? But let me use it anyway.
It's still an English word.
And so sometimes we need to go back to that hustler talk, whereby wapi huyu vijana nasikia wanafanya kazi mitaani now. You know, now they are being paid by central government. It is the county government that should have taken that responsibility, because they collect their money. They are the ones who know the roads that need to be done, the bushes that need to be cleared. Shida, as Ambassador puts it, is our level of governance right from the homes. And I'm sorry to say this, even as parents, me, I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for 25 years. Parents in the homes now have failures that are starting to cry that we want the children back to school, want children to go back to school, because governance in the homes has failed. Ambassador, don't just start with Jubilee or with Uhuru or whoever. Start talking about our homes. Can our homes, governance in our homes also change and shift? Can our parents, our fathers in the homes take responsibility? Can mothers take responsibility? Can we see people become good governors, even in churches? Our churches also are a problem. Teachers. Can teachers take charge of schools? Then from there, we can start talking about Kenya governing this country back to the right path. But as of now, bado tuko hiyo musukosuko ya kujitafuta, who is who, what money can I put in my pocket, and so forth and so on.
Ambassador, you can you can comment on the fortifying, how we can fortify the revenue collection, because at the end of the day we are talking about revenue division, but we're talking about something that we have to collect first so that we may be able to share.
Very well.
And especially
number
in the
one,
counties.
Yes, number one, allow me just to say and to add to what Peter has said. Indeed, we need to start it from the family level, because any weak family, then we are assured even that at the national level, systems must shake if the family unit is not in order. Therefore, when public service governance, we are promoting governance, we are saying that from the family level, be a responsible father, be a responsible father, be a responsible child. And even now we are having a very powerful youth directorate. And we are saying that the youth must now be responsible. We are not birthing youths who are to be given 200, 500 by politicians, and then they start worshipping them. No, that is not the way. We want to bring up a society that is responsible, a society that has high level of integrity and moral standing, and the fear of God at the same time. Now, coming to the county revenue, allow me to say this, that we as a country must pause and must think, what is the best strategy that we can be able to adopt as a country towards revenue allocation? And I must say this, that we are running government. Yes, we have Vision 2030. Yes, we have the Big Four agenda. We have the poverty eradication strategy papers and all that. But we need to have a guiding principle, a guiding document, a strategic a strategy paper that tells us we need to do 1, 2, 3 roads in Northeastern. This is the much that it costs. We need to do water in Turkana. This is the much that it costs. We need to do to enhance agriculture in the Rift Valley. This is how much it will cost. We need to enhance fishing in Nyanza region. This is how much it will cost. And then let us have budgets that are informed from the strategic issues that has been stipulated in the strategic paper. Therefore, what we can do as a country as a solution to the stalemate. Number one, let us first of all have the revenue shared as it is. As we move now to see the possibility of every region, every county in this country coming up with their own strategic paper, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do in Turkana, even if I'm the president or whatever. I don't know what's supposed to happen in Northeastern for 3 years, for the 5 years upcoming. I don't know what's supposed to happen in Nyanza for 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know what is supposed to happen to Central for 3, 4, 5 years. I even don't know how much that would translate into. Therefore, I call upon the country. Can we now focus on service-driven revenue allocation? Not about how many people. And I must say that the Central region, and I don't want to go into the Senate debate, but I must say that we are all equal. A child in Turkana, a child in Madeira, a child in Central Province must enjoy equitably and equally the national cake across the country. So it's not about how many people you are. It's about what are the strategic issues that are demanding a revenue allocation in the country. That means we'll be, just the way in institutions, we are guided by strategic plans. That this year, we need to do 1, 2, 3, and it will cost 1, 2, 3, and it will cost this much. And we execute it, we monitor, we evaluate, we move on to the next strategic period. And I believe that can work very well. But that has to be away from politics. If we are to implement that,
yes,
I'm not sure some politicians will buy it. That is why we are still pushing for public service system of government, because allow me to say that in this country, what Wajiko needs is water. What Wajiko needs is education, is good roads, is food on the table. We have the relevant ministries of government. Ministry of Water to Konayo. Why don't we devolve the Ministry of Water up to the ward level? We have the Ministry of Education, Mashule, instead of tasking MCAs who have been elected by the power of the vote, but not by the capacity to deliver. We remove that responsibility from them. We task an educational expert at the ward level to go to each and every school. Which school does not have desks? What is the ratio between a child and a teacher, a teacher and children in the classroom? How many toilets do we have? How many water points do we have? These are the only people who can give us. Now, look at what Mr. Badi is doing, the Generari, Muhammad Badi in Nairobi. He's an example of what we are talking public service system. He is not elected. He is not even looking for votes from anybody. He is not doing what he is doing to win anybody's hearts. He is just doing what he's supposed to do because it is service to humanity, which is service to God. Therefore, we are proposing strongly that we must adopt and establish public service system, service-driven governance in the Republic of Kenya. And Your Excellency, you are strategically positioned to be able to sit and think about this. Because all we need on the ground is services, not politics again. Politics must come to an end. Thank you.
Talking about the national cake, you've mentioned something on the national cake. Lady and gentlemen, let's focus on this. Should we relook on the natural resources that we have? Look at the oil in Turkana. They were actually talking about we also should be having a slightly bigger share because the oil actually is our own resource there in Turkana. Look at the wind energy, the geothermal, looking at the hydro in Embu County. Should we relook that so that we may be able to share revenue equitably? Because as you've talked about service driven, not about a population.
Yes, of course. You know, God has given us a great country. Kenya is a great country. We are endowed with minerals. We are endowed with, and not just Kenya. You read, I was reading an article about Africa. Africa as a continent. The richest continent on this globe, or in this galaxy, I don't know what word I can use, is Africa. As you are asking, what now would be the way forward to harness these resources properly so that Africans or Kenyans or people from Meru County, people from Kirinyaga County can enjoy resources from Meru. And the problem goes back to what Moi said, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, whereby it's not that we don't have capacity. We have the capacity. But we have refused to think outside the box as people from Kakamega, people from Meru, we are looking at politics who will become president in 2022. So our concentration is not what can I do for Meru County. My concentration as a person from Meru is who will become president in 2022? Will he be my brother or my sister or my cousin from my other mother? You know, we are not thinking about how to harness those resources. And that's what we are calling the national cake. The national cake is these resources that God has given us. How to harness them, how to use them properly to benefit our people. Now, a county like Mombasa has the port. The port of Mombasa is a God-given resource for the people of Mombasa. But you see, the politics at the national level determine what happens in Mombasa. So you discover the politics at the national level will say, from today, no truck will pick luggage from the port of Mombasa. All luggage will be picked with a machine into a container. The container will be put on a lorry, not a lorry, on the SGR, and the SGR will deliver to Nairobi or to Naivasha. So the person in Mombasa has been left out. They have a resource, but the politics dictate, the way politics are run, they end up losing out of this resource. I wish to give another example again. In Kakamega, we have been hearing about the gold mines in Kakamega.
Yes.
The other day, the CS for mining is called Munyes, was in Kakamega. And it was announced that very big gold resources have been found in Kakamega. The best gold in Africa is actually in Kakamega town, Kakamega County. And they are saying it's so big, it's a big resource that they don't even know where to start from. A company called Acacia was given, a UK company, to mine the gold. The people of Kakamega have not even understood. Actually, they are sleeping on gold. They are sitting on gold, and they are dying hungry. They have no hospitals, they have no schools, they have nothing. But they have gold. Can you imagine? Now, their leaders are not talking about that gold. The leaders in Kakamega are talking about who will become BBI. When the BBI rally went to Kakamega, the governors of Western did not talk about the gold. They told us, we want to have a prime minister and a deputy prime minister. That is the thing that they could talk about in a BBI rally. They could not talk about what Wanjiku of Kakamega wants. Ladies and gentlemen and Kenyans, is it the wiring that we were wired? And my brother here asks a good question. So what's the way forward? You know, we can't keep lamenting. We have also to give way forwards.
Yes.
It is we as the people of Kenya, people of Meru, people of Isiolo, people of Samburu County. You people of Samburu now, start looking at what do you have? What is the uniqueness of your county? Is it tourism? Is it the gold, like me I'm talking about in Kakamega? Is it the port of Mombasa? Then start talking about that resource. And as Madam Ambassador puts it, now let us leave out politicians. Sure. Let us now, we as the people of Murang'a, we agree that our resource is human resource. Watoto wetu wamesoma, wanajua kufanya kazi, they can be Equity Bank CEO. So we have resource from Murang'a. So we invest in the human resource called people of Murang'a. And we leave out the politicians. It has come out. Me, in fact, I've reached a place, I'm no longer talking about things of 2022, 2021. It's not important. What is important now, and as you put it, and Tuju one time said, you're not even sure if it will be in 2022, by the way. Ata Tujui. So can we now concentrate on harnessing the resources in the county? Before we talk about the national level cake that is coming from the national level, can we start enjoying the little things that we have as Malindi County, as Kilifi County? Enjoy them, and don't allow your governor and his politicians to steal from you. Form lobby groups to petition the governor, to petition people in the county. Do awareness. Come on TV like this one and talk about the resources of your county. I tend to think that's the way forward.
Thank you.
Yes, Ambassador.
Yes, allow me to add to that. And that is why we must remove them on the system. We now must remove politicians from the system and bar the public-driven system, which we are already promoting, and we are now hitting quite a number of signatures so that we now move to the constitutional amendment process. Because it is very unfortunate, my colleague Peter has just said, that governors, senators, MPs go to Harare, a BBI Harare in Kakamega, and they will not talk about oil. The gold in Kakamega. Yes. They go to Turkana, they will not talk about streamlining oil in Turkana. Yes. I want to ask myself, how much are we benefiting now from the oil in Turkana? Sure. How much are we thinking as an economy, how not to export the oil raw products, but to ensure that we enlarge our, what do we call it? This is whatever in Mombasa, our oil refinery in Mombasa, so that we don't continue exporting. These raw materials from the oil are very important to us. How much are we thinking about the tourism sector? How much are we thinking about agriculture that we always say, backbone of our economy is agriculture. Yes. Let me tell you, Kenyans, we are not yet there. Agriculture has been politicized, of course. Everyone, or each one of us knows about the maize scandals and all these things, the fertilizer scandals. I must say and repeat that we must bring politicians' elections to an end in this country. It has to come a time when we have now to say enough is enough and no to anything that is not working. Allow me to say that the Holy Book says that if it is kama ni mkono unafanya utende dhambi, cut it off. If it is elections and politics that have brought the governance of this country to its knees, why don't we cut off the politics? Why don't we cut off the elections? Why don't we cut off anything that is making us not to move forward? So we are proposing today that we must now start thinking about a service-driven formula, a service-driven strategy, service-driven budget at the Senate. Listen to me, even those who are now forming the 12-member committee. You are going nowhere as long as you continue bringing on the table that what we are discussing on the table is how many of these crosses are going to be BI, how many are come on, let us rise beyond petty politics. Let us now concentrate on Wajiko who is breathing. And I must say that if you blow air into a balloon and you continue blowing it too much, what happens? It blows out. Wajiko is about to blow out. And we are about to say, no more uchaguzi katika Jamhuri ya Kenya. We must now move to service-driven governance.
And ladies and gentlemen, when you're talking about the money that you have, even in your pocket, and you have somebody who's working for you, you also have to factor that. Let's look at the wage bill. In Kenya, of course, it's over 50%. It's over 50% of our revenue. And looking at the wage bill, we look, and the senators themselves talking on the floor of the House, we are not hearing how we are going to minimize some of these things, like the wage bill, which of course has skyrocketed over the last couple of years. And of course, last week, they had the bill, they passed the bill on former legislators to also have something in their pockets. So why are we not addressing the wage bill issue? Because at the end of the day, if we are to share the 316 billion, but almost 100 billion is we just go to salaries, then we are doing nothing.
And actually, it goes back again to the bad planning and bad politics. Actually, I'm in the labor sector. I work mainly in the labor sector in a union. And in the labor sector, I've attended very many seminars on this thing about reducing the wage bill, about getting people who can really do the job. But you see, all our proposals that we have been making are shot down by politicians. You know, everything ends again in parliament. You know, even, I'm sorry, any decision that we make, any proposal we make, we are finally told it will have to be taken to parliament to be discussed. The same politicians will discuss. And I want to give a very good example from the field that I've been in, which is actually education and teaching. Politicians will bother the CEO at the Teacher Service Commission to give them letters to post people, to you know, favors. You know, in Kenya kuna hii kitu ya kwamba I want favors. When a county government is formed, you will discover that if a new governor takes over from another governor, for example, say in Kisumu County, a new governor, Anyang' Nyong'o, took over from Raguma, who had been the previous governor. He comes with a new workforce. He needs a new PA, a new drivers. The drivers who are working for the other governor will remain working, yes, but now they'll not drive him. They are still on the payroll. The wage bill continues to... So, because when he was employed, he was given permanent, status as a driver. So he will remain a driver, but now without a car to drive. Because he used to drive the driver who now has lost the election. So what happens is that, and I'm just giving an example of that one of the driver, but there are many other overlapping roles. And then that brings me to what Madam Ambassador was saying, that you discover that we need a person, say, in the county to be in charge of education, not, say, a politician. But again, that is what's happening. When you go to the field, say to go to Muranga, there is a county director of education from the Ministry of Education in Muranga. There is a Teachers Service Commission county director from the commission, which is an independent commission called TSC. There is the county government has a minister for education, also being paid. The national government has a directors, 2 or 3 of them. The county government also has ministers, assistant ministers. Then they have, I don't know, they call them CEC or C or what. So we have 10 people in Kakamega County handling education. I'm just telling you the truth. So we have people from the county government, we have people from the national government. All of them are handling what? Education. I come to say we want to distribute sanitizers or sanitary towels in a school. We have the woman rep from Kakamega. She also is very interested in also to distribute them in schools. She becomes the main say on how these things will be done. There's the principal. Let's say we are talking about Bunyore girls. The principal of Bunyore girls is an expert. But there's the woman rep. She wants to become the expert. The person from the Ministry of Education is also an expert. The person from the TSC is an expert. So we have overlapping roles. The issue is not that we don't have these people, Madam Ambassador.
Yes.
We have people in all these counties. You go to forest, you go to tourism, we have people duplicating roles. But we can't dare touch them. Because our constitution of 2010, which I keep blaming for most of our ills, protects them. The constitution says there has to be a chief, area chief. Then there has also to be the area councillor. Then there has to be the area MCA. I don't know what.
So there's also the ward administrator.
There's the ward admin.
That's very true.
And all these people are on the payroll of the government.
Exactly.
And we can't run away from it because our hands are tied by the Constitution of Kenya.
Yes.
Indeed. Perhaps, Ambassador, you can add on
allow
that,
me to
because
add a little
that was
bit.
actually my next question, the over-representation, because as I said earlier, you only spend the money that you have.
Yes.
Over-representation.
In one single county, we have a governor, his executive. We have a deputy governor, her executive or his executive. We have an MP.
Excellence.
We have a women rep. We have a MCA.
Yes.
We have a ward. Name it. And that is why almost 56% of the country's GDP and income is going towards the current expenditure in terms of salaries. Now, how much as a country are we spending to pay these people in terms of allowances? And recently, they are also discussing a package for members of parliament to go home with. It's unfortunate as a country. Number 2, how much do we spend in election process? The campaigns to brand this country, whether it is Jubilee or ODM, when it is Jubilee, it is all red throughout the country. ODM or yellow throughout the country, whatever URP, how much do we spend in campaigns? How much do we spend, IBC, in voter registration exercise? How much do we spend to do elections? Like the just ended elections and the presidential rerun, more than 100 billion shillings. Money that can be used to streamline the oil being drilled in Turkana and provide a sustainable economy for that county. And that is why we are saying, when these people now come into parliament, others go to counties, others go to constituencies and the wards. Again, we are paying them salaries. We are giving them allowances. As the Senate sits and they fail 9 times to give us a revenue allocation or whatever, we are still paying them allowances. As a country, we must pause. And this is the time to touch the untouchables. And now to the DPP and to the DCI. We must now, please, depoliticize our systems of justice. If there is a time that now we have to sit and be serious as a country is now. We cannot continue singing what my friend has just talked about, that we have untouchables in this country. The untouchables who are making Wajiko to cry every morning. The untouchables who are making our roads to be not passable because of the potholes and what. The untouchables who are making us to sleep hungry as a country. The untouchables who have made agriculture not to be the backbone of our economy until today. We must now touch the untouchables. Therefore, our DCI, our justice systems, kindly adopt a no-nonsense attitude. Your Excellency the President, this is not a time now to impress who is who. It's a time that Wajiko must breathe. Na nirudie niseme ya kwamba, if you blow a balloon too much, it will burst. Utafika wakati, this balloon will blow. Wajiko is about to blow. And let me tell you, when Wajiko blows, Your Excellency, together with the entire government protocol, you will not be able to manage what will come out of Wajiko. And let us remind ourselves, because we are talking about the wage bill, the money that we are paying to all elected representatives is too much. The money that we are spending to do a whole elections, even today, sustaining the electoral body is too much. The money that we are buying electoral materials, the BVL kits that even fail in the middle of transmission after spending billions, and even Kina Musando dying in the process, is too much as a country. So, we must pause, we must evaluate, and we must embrace systems that are going to work. And I must say, we must be a country that is able to embrace revolutions. If you keep on holding to one thing, like kama sasa tungesema we are not going to embrace the technology in our phones, that you remember we had the booths where you used to go there, the booths that ambassador unaweka coins. If we never embraced the technological growth in communication, to be able to have smartphones today, you are able to Skype a person around the globe. It can be very unfortunate. What revolution are we embracing in governance? What is the new normal that COVID has brought in governance? And I believe COVID is telling us no more campaigns, no more congregating. Yeah? Therefore, no more elections in the country. Yes. Therefore, those who are campaigning for 2022, COVID is talking to you. Actually, no more elections. We need service delivery, like what Honorable Badi Mohammed, the retired general, not retired, Badi, yeah, he's still there. Okay. He is doing in Nairobi County.
We're going to touch on that because you brought up a very interesting thing on service delivery. You're talking about looking at a very good example is Nairobi. When it comes to service delivery, perhaps we can develop that. We'll get to that. But looking at the third basis formula, a lot of people have faulted it and others have supported it. Talking about if you send, if at all a small county has a big population, and look at the big counties that have okay, they talk about being marginalized, but they're talking about that is not fair, and also talking about there will be more backward, if I have to use that word, and there will be more marginalized if they are not given equal share as other counties who at least they have a bigger population.
Yeah, you know, the word that we should be talking about is equity. Equity is different from equality. Equality is trying to make everybody equal. Many people have tried socialism, many political ideologies have been propagated in this world to bring out that thing they call equality. Even in the Bible, they don't preach about equality, they preach about equity. That's why you heard somewhere Jesus said that, you know, he who has, more shall be added unto him. And the one who has little, the little he has shall be taken away from that person and given to the other one. So the Bible doesn't talk about equality, it talks about equity. Equity is that in your position where you are you able to access what you need, what everybody else is accessing? For example, can we access medical cover from Mandera? Can we access medical schools in Garissa? Now, I'm using this example mainly because it's important. A school like, say, Alliance Boys High School is in Kiambu County. Alliance Boys High School has 6 streams of students. Now, these students need teachers. Garabatula High School in Isiolo has only one stream. In fact, most of the children have run away from the school. The school doesn't, most of them are pastoralists. They don't stay in the school. They don't even like staying anywhere near school. Now, Teacher Service Commission has to be equal, has to do what we call, I want to give it as, that's the example I'm using. Teacher Service Commission has to send teachers to Garabatula and has also sent teachers to Alliance. The resources that the Ministry of Education will use on Alliance and Garabatula High School cannot be the same.
No.
So you see, what we are seeing in the revenue sharing bill, the discussion, is that they are saying that let Mandera also get as much as, say, Kiambu. Let Kiambu get, let us get the same. That's equality. But how will you say they get the same when the people in Kiambu, the example I've used about schools, the people in Kiambu are more. They may not be able to get the same. They may not be able to get the same, but they can get equity. Equity is provide services to Mandera. Stop talking about marginalization. And let me also stop this other notion that I get to see everywhere. People keep telling us that pastoralism, they equate pastoralism to poverty. See, we are pastoralists, so we are marginalized, we are poor. I know people in Kakamega, where I come from, who have land. They are not pastoralists. They just have a quarter of a piece of land. They are very poor. We have poor people in Kiambu also. We have poor people in Muranga. The issue is, can also the poor person in Muranga also get resources, government resources? That's what I call equity. Can the person also in Mandera, just the same way person in Muranga gets, the person in Mandera also should get education. The only problem is, to make sure that the person in Mandera gets resources, you may need to use more money on the person in, the people in Kakamega, because there are more. I call it equity. And to wind it up, I'll just say, this kind of thing can be done not with politicians.
Thank you.
It can only be done by technocrats.
Thank you.
Politicians have interests.
Yes.
And interests are bad. Yes. It is only technocrats. And that's why we have a revenue sharing commission, or is it committee? Why can this committee give us, and it already has given us, why subject this report they have given us again to more shenanigans in parliament, people being arrested, taken to Kakamega, Muranga, Isiolo, people, why this drama? And I think that's where I agree with my friend, the ambassador here, that we love, Kenyans love drama. Tunapenda hii vitu ya vitimbi, sijui vinini hizi, sijui Churchill, sijui comedy. We love this comedy so much that we have to keep watching Kina Murkomen doing their comedy in the Senate every day. Time has come as Kenyans, and I like you, madam, for what you are saying, that we now take the bull by horns as Kenyans. Absolutely. Who don't have political tags on us and who don't have interests. And let these institutions that we have formed, like the Revenue Sharing Commission, like the Teacher Service Commission, like the IEBC, like the what, let them work independently without interference from politicians.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Ambassador, do you support what Amunga has talked about?
100%. 100% I support him, that it's a time to do away with politics in the Republic of Kenya. It's a time that politics ceases. Na unajua, nguo ikiwa mpya, ikifika wakati inataruka, you don't need it any longer. You throw it out of the window. So a time has come that we throw politics and politicians and elections out of the window, and we focus on service delivery to the people. So to the Republic of Kenya and to the Senate and those who are struggling to get this formula, that what we need is service-driven formula. Enough. What do you need your house? What do you need in your house? If I may go to the smallest unit in our society, that if I want to buy unga, if I want to buy milk in my house, if I want to buy majani, I will just try to see what do I need in the week. How many days do I need tea leaves? You see, I'm trying to bring you closer of a service-driven formula. And Your Excellency, public service governance, we have the solution for what is keeping Senate 24 hours at the Senate not getting solution. The problem is we are not able to open up to Kenyans because of politics.
Ambassador, hold your thought.
Thank you.
Apologies for that. But we are crossing over to the KMTC, where IGAD is handing over PPEs to the Dadaab refugee camp.
Health, Dr. Rashid Aman, Governor Marsabit County, and the Vice Chairman for the frontier counties present here, on Development Council, Honorable Mohammed Ahmud Ali, Governor Garissa County, Honorable Ali Korone, UNHR Special Envoy to Horn of Africa, Honorable Ambassador Afey, UNHCR Kenya Representative Ms. Fasia Abdallah, KMTC Chief Executive Professor Kipto, Senior IGAT Regional Program Coordinator Fatima Adan, representatives of various government and private entities, development partners, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's still good morning. Good morning. It gives me and the entire board of Kenya Medical Training College a great pleasure to welcome you to Kenya Medical Training College, current campus. KMTC trains over 41,000 students in medical courses, various courses across the country, with our 71 campuses. And this program here, nutrition, is going to go a long way to even strengthen our programs and even strengthen the entire region, including the areas that IGAT serves. And so KMTC is blessed to provide key training opportunities for our students. In support of the government universal health coverage agenda, the college graduated last year 12,621 students just last year. This year, we are projecting over 13,000 students to go to the labor force in the health sector. And so KMTC plays a key role. That's why when we say 85%, over 85% of all the health workers in the country, they go through Kenya Medical Training College. And this is the main training arm of the government, and will continue to support this. And so our Chief Administrative Secretary, we appreciate you for the support that the Minister of Health, and especially you particularly, we appreciate you, Dr. Mann, for the support to Kenya Medical Training College. The partnership between the Minister of Health, Kenya Medical Training College, and IGAT has played also a major role. We started this relationship in 2018, and we have an office that is already situated here, and we collaborate closely with even the director here present. We work with her closely, and we will continue to nourish this arrangement. We want to say also in the nutrition department, 1,735 students in the KMTC, they do nutrition or they undertake nutrition courses. And so if you can see this number is a serious and substantive number that we believe this nutrition based here will be able to serve the region well. Mr. Executive Secretary, let me also share with you that IGAT Center of Excellence on Nutrition, that is going to be based here. We can assure you the board of directors and our faculty, our management will be able to ensure is going to be hosted in this beautiful facility here for the betterment of the entire region. Let me also share with you that KMTC, we also been mandated by the government to provide our facilities, and 44 facilities which are our campuses at the moment. We are ensuring that COVID-19, when it comes to quarantine and even isolation, we are providing these facilities in partnership with the Minister of Health, and we also appreciate a lot of support in this area. Lastly, let me also say the IGAT for regional, the donation that we've received and that we will continue to receive here, we'll make sure that it will be managed in the proper ways of utilizing the resources that we receive, and also the donation that it is going to go to Dadaab for personal protective equipment that will be provided today. We also requesting that because our team of of management and our staff, who also doubles as health professionals, we're also going to benefit because most of our staff also, they're working in the hospitals, and we believe the PPEs provided today will be able to benefit also our members of staff and our lecturers. And so then, let me now take this opportunity to welcome the UNHCR country representative, Ms. Fadhia Abdallah, to come and thank you so very much.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much.
That's a live feed from the KMTC College in Karen, where IGAD is handing over PPEs to be taken to the Dadaab refugee camp. I can say a very good shot in the arm, especially for the war on COVID-19. A much comprehensive report on the same in our 1 p.m. news. Now we are back on NewsCheck, and we are fortifying our discussion. And joining us now is Wycliffe Alutalala, who is also a governance expert. Karibu sana. Yes, of course, we have been talking about the revenue sharing stalemate, that now 9 sessions and no solution. Of course, a committee was formed, a 12-member committee was formed yesterday to look into the issue. Wycliffe, karibu sana. What do we do? What is a win-win situation when it comes to this revenue sharing stalemate?
Thank you so much for inviting me here. And let me start first of all by saying that on 27th of August this year, we shall be celebrating the 10th anniversary of our new constitution. And it is a pity that some of the provisions that were supposed to have been effected 5 years ago are still yet to be effected and are part of the problem that we are seeing today. Why do I say this? The reason why we are having all these views about revenue sharing is because the drafters of our constitution knew very well at the back of their minds that Kenya was not at par as a country. There are regions that were ahead of others in terms of development and resources, and others were still lagging behind. And that's why they came up with this idea of having an equalization fund to cater for those areas that were still lagging behind. But as we speak today, I'm shocked recently to hear, when this debate was all going in the Senate, that the equalization fund has not yet been actualized. And I can authoritatively say it is part of the reason why you see all this noise about this revenue sharing. Because had it been that the equalization fund had been actionalized and it is working, we will not be seeing all this noise. But now the noise is coming because those areas that are perceived or perceive themselves to be lagging behind feel that with the little resources that they have been allocated in the previous sharing formula, it is again coming to a point whereby they are even losing part of whatever they have been receiving. Now, what does this tell you? I think, as my friend Amunga said, Kenyans, we like comedy. And I think it is high time this comedy must stop. We need to stop trivializing important national issues to make them like a political comedy or acting or movie of sorts. We cannot take a serious issue like the issue of resources and revenue sharing to be that petty, to be treated to the type of drama I saw in the Senate the other day. It is a pity, and I think as a Kenyan, I'm very disgusted to see our elected leaders behaving as if we are in a comedy show. To me, I think what we need in this whole saga of revenue sharing is true leadership. And leadership is not about just thinking about me. It is about thinking about Kenya. So to me, I would propose and I would support the formation of the committee that was formed yesterday, and I believe that the leaders who are selected in that committee should have one goal of ensuring that we have equity. There is nothing like equality, just like my friend put it. There is no equality on earth.
It's not there.
It is not there. What we need is equity. And I think it is high time the Senate spares us this drama.
And the dramas that we have witnessed from the first session to now the 9th, and we still haven't found a solution. Do you believe a lot of politics are playing out much more than democracy? Because yesterday we also had 29-29. I talk about they were exercising their constitutional rights and democracy.
Now, you know, Kenya is a democracy. We do elect leaders. Kenya is not a monarch. Kenya is not a kingdom. But all said and done, democracy is there to exercise our rights as Kenyans. But equally, as we exercise our rights, it is high time we need to separate serious national issues from issues where you have to push. Because even democracy, we are told with democracy there comes also, with rights, there are obligations. It is the obligation of the Senate to give Kenya the relevant laws in relation to devolution. So we cannot be too much of democracy and leave our core business, which is making relevant laws. So to me, what needs to happen is that the committee that was formed, because actually it is now becoming too much. You cannot discuss one bill 9 times, 9 times without agreeing, unless there is something we Kenyans are not being told. We trust that it is high time our senators should man up and face this thing by the horns and agree to move this country forward. We cannot be held hostage as a country just because someone feels I'm right, the other guy feels he's right. We must have a compromise position.
Indeed, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, we need to pick up the pace now. The ambassador brought about something, okay, we haven't tried it in Kenya, but we've seen signs of it, the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. She was talking about services. If we can replicate this in all counties, at least we have some service provision and politics aside. Do you think perhaps this can help? Amunga?
Of course, yes. I agree so heavily. Although
we are counting the chicks before they hatch.
Yes. Also, I've accused the ambassador next to me here of being so biased against politicians.
Yes.
But she has her point.
Yes.
That for service delivery to work, we must depoliticize the service, I mean, the whole process. The conveyor belt that produces service must be disassociated completely with politics. There are countries like in Germany. You know, I had a privilege of going to Germany one time with students for a trip. And in Germany, elections were going on. The day I was there, they were choosing the chancellor. The chancellor, a person there called chancellor is the president. It's like the president. Do you know life was going on? We were at the airport, nothing. Nobody seemed to know that Angela Merkel, her name is Angela Merkel, was being chosen. It's when I go to my hotel room, then I looked around and I discovered these guys have been having an election. There's a president being inaugurated. No posters, everything is running extremely well. The politics of Germany, of whatever, is not tied to the economics and the service delivery. That is where now Kenya goes wrong. In Kenya, Obama is elected president in America. We are given a public holiday, 2 days, to celebrate in Kisumu streets, tunabeba matao. Yet in America itself, people are working. There is no holiday in America to celebrate that Obama has been elected. But in Kisumu, where I was teaching in Kisumu Boys, my students went home. We were on the streets, dancing and celebrating Obama. Yet in America, work was going on. They didn't even bother. Those who bothered maybe were those who were in his campaign team, who got a holiday. Let me say this. Service delivery must be removed from politics in Kenya. If we want, ile moya alituambia siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, imetupata, na hiyo siasa tu ni mbaya. Sasa, kama tunataka chochote hii Kenya, toeni hii maneno, wacha politicians wafanye drama yao. Those who are keen on watching their soap opera can switch on and watch that soap opera. But those of us who are keen on service delivery, education for our children, good roads, good hospitals, na sisi tuwapewe nafasi yetu ya kufanya mambo yetu. Na wale wanataka drama, waone drama ya Murkomen na Cleophas Malala wakifanya as they run around Kakamega, back to Nairobi, fly to a tourist house, have lunch, wear no masks, dance. They can enjoy that, that drama.
Okay, thank you. Ambassador,
Yes.
1 minute.
Thank you very much. Basically, we don't want any more political drama in the country. It's time to focus on development. And those who are telling us that all these dramas are towards enlarging the democratic space, you are very, very wrong. That is not the way to run democracy. And I must say that envisage Kenyans. Can you put it in your mind the way we are seeing General Mohammed Badi doing it in Nairobi? If we had other buddies in the 47 counties, in the 299 constituencies, and in 1,450 wards in the country, like buddies, concentrating on development 24/7, that he doesn't have a time. In fact, that is why recently he said, I'm not looking for any political seats. So those politicians who are thinking that maybe he's up to something, he's up to nothing. Therefore, Your Excellency, thank you for giving us a pilot of public service system of government in Kenya through Nairobi County. And Nairobi County, we don't need any politics. In fact, what drama we are seeing now, again in the county assembly and all these things, must come to a stop. Because now we want to focus the country, and Your Excellency, the President, you must establish this before you leave that seat. Otherwise, if you leave that seat, before you establish service-driven way of doing things, then things will be too bad. Whatever you have done in Nairobi County, positioning General Badi, do it in all the 47 counties. All we want to see is the ministries of government ikitupatia kazi katika mashinani. We want to see the Ministry of Education devolved. We want to see the Ministry of Water devolved. We want to see the Ministry of Agriculture devolved. We want to see politicians sent home. I wish we had a whip to whip them home right now. We just whip them home, and tomorrow we ban service-driven governance. And to the senators, service-driven formula. In fact, last night when the committee was constituted, immediately somebody somewhere asked, I did not see in the committee somebody from Mount Kenya. So can you see the kind of petty thinking that we are? So from today, no more politics, and we have declared, and you know, as a country, until we decide, we cannot move. You have to make a decision so that you move. So Your Excellency, make a decision. Public service system of doing things.
Wycliffe,
governance. Thank you.
The 12-member committee, you think they are going to come up with a solution?
They have no option.
Thank you.
It is not an option, and is not a request. The Senate cannot hold the country at ransom because of their bickering and unknown reasons to Kenyans. They have no option. The committee must come up with a formula, and the formula that is going to be workable and agreeable to the entire country. It's not about if, they must agree. Yeah.
Indeed. And unfortunately, our time has run out. Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady and gentlemen. We were speaking about the revenue sharing stalemate, which still we haven't found a solution yet. Which way forward? Some very good and clear insight from our panelists. I was speaking to Peter Amunga on my immediate left. We had Ambassador Esther Waringa on my extreme left. And of course, we have been with Wycliffe, although for a few minutes, but Wycliffe Alutalala, who is a governance expert. Thank you so much for making time and indeed for your insight. My name is Ben Troy Njue, and on the bottom of your screen has been Simon Karoda. Earlier had been Susan Athuku. Thank you so much, but Tamrini is coming up next with Timothy Kipnusu.